best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Hello and welcome to the Frontier Motor Show. My name is Iven Streckel, owner of Frontier Motors. We've been bringing you this show on Blab TV for the last 24 years, and for the next half hour, we're going to be talking cars, what's going on in the car industry nationwide, and a little bit about what's going on at Frontier Motors. First things first, the results are in for last year, and when I say last year, we're talking about 2019. It takes them a while to add up all the figures, but they talk about that, according to the Edmunds, Auto Remarketing reported that 40.4 million used vehicles were sold last year, surpassing 40.2 million the year before. So the year before in 2018 was the best year ever for used cars, and last year was even better than that. That's the most since they've been keeping records since 2007. New car sales were down a bit though. Which was interesting. In 2019, they sold 17.1 million cars. 2 years earlier, they had a record of 17.4. So they're saying that there's a reason for the drop in sales for the new cars, and it has a lot to do with that fact that the average new car was $34,000. It crept up almost $600 since the year before. The average price is a major factor in the rise of used vehicle sales. In its most recent used vehicle report, Edmunds found the average price difference between a new vehicle and the equivalent 3-year-old vehicle was $14,951, the largest price gap ever. So what they're saying is that if you buy a 3-year-old car, you're saving just about $15,000, which is about $5,000 a year. And of course, that's what we specialize in at Frontier Motors. We've been talking about depreciation since we've been open, and I'm happy to report that last year, for the first time ever, that Consumers Reports put into writing what I've been talking about for over 2 decades. And they're saying that the first year, well, instead of me telling you that, let me have my buddy Dave Ramsey talk to you about that.
Hey, Pensacola, Dave Ramsey here. Thinking of buying a brand new car? Well, that's a big mistake. Last year, the average new car was $36,000, and the first year depreciation was 27%. That equates to a whopping $9,200. Go to the dealer that specializes in low-mileage, 1-year-old cars and trucks, my friends at Frontier Motors. They're a used car dealer that I'm proud to recommend. Frontier will save you money over the price of a new car and make the usually dreaded car buying experience a whole lot more enjoyable. They've been serving the Pensacola community for 23 years, and they do much more than just sell cars. Replacement value, diminished value after an accident, Carfax reports, appraisals, help with paperwork for private transactions. They will do it all at no charge. Visit them online at frontiermotorsinc.com or stop by their lot on Beverly Parkway. When you're there, don't forget to tell them Dave sent you.
Dave does a really good job talking in 60 seconds about what it takes me hours and hours and hours to do. And one of the things that he was talking about is what I had said as far as the diminished value on a car, and as far as the loss that you take when you buy a car. 37% in 3 years, 46% of the value is in 4 years from now. And it makes me wonder sometimes why people would buy a brand new car unless they won the lottery. If you know you're going to lose that kind of money, why wouldn't you buy a car that might be 3 months or 6 months old? It doesn't have to be a car that's 3 years old, like Dave talked about. The 3-year-old car drops almost, or Edmunds talked about, that drops almost $15,000. What if you buy a car that's a 2020 used car, which we have lots of 2020s already on the lot? I'm bidding today. I'm bidding on some brand new Hondas with no miles on them. And people say, well, where are you getting those cars? I said, I just want to make sure that when I buy a car like that, I am not a Honda dealer, for example. I don't have a franchise, so I have to sell those Hondas, even if they have 5 to 20 miles on them, I have to sell them as used because I'm a used car dealer. And so the advantage for you is you're going to save a bunch of money over a brand new one that hasn't been titled. These cars will be brand new title cars. So again, I have to sell them as used because they're titled, which the disadvantage of being titled is that the warranty clock is ticking. So if the car is 2 months old, for example, you're going to lose 2 months of warranty. People always ask me, what does it do to the warranty of a car? The warranty, now it goes with the car. When you drive into a service bay of a new car dealership, they scan the ID number of your car. It has actually a scan bar on your car, on the door or on the windshield, and it gives you all the it gives them all the information as far as the warranty. So the old days of having to transfer your warranty are gone. It does it automatically. But one thing I do have to say, that if you buy a used car from Frontier Motors or anywhere for that reason, I would still say call the service department up, because if there's any recalls or if there's any bulletins that come out, you'd want to be aware of those. So you want to get those in the mail or by email. So if you're buying a car from Frontier Motors, I always tell you to call the manufacturer and give them your information in case there is, especially if it's a safety recall. Carfax these days will tell us any outstanding recalls, and we subscribe to Carfax, which I think Dave said that one of the services that we provide is free Carfax reports. So if you're going to be buying a car somewhere and it's not from us, call us up with the ID number and I'll tell you what the Carfax report says, and it'll also tell you if there's any safety recalls or any recalls for that matter. It seems that the safety recall issue was a big deal about 4 years ago. Remember when the airbag situation started with Honda? At first Honda, and then it escalated worldwide. And they started with like 6,000 recalls on airbags, and then they went all the way up to 60 or 70 million cars. It's interesting that you don't hear about that anymore. Isn't that they're still out there. There's still cars out there that have airbag recalls that haven't been fixed, but nobody seems to care anymore. And I don't know whatever happened to that. Before, new car dealers were taking their new cars, putting them on the back fence and saying, I can't sell these brand new cars because they have recalls on them. And then there was a talk that the legislature was going to mandate that no cars could be sold if they had a recall. Well, guess what? The economy would stop turning. Because cars and car dealers are one of the biggest, contributors of the economy. And if you told them that they couldn't sell a car that has a recall, there wouldn't be any cars sold. Some of the recalls are putsy recalls that had nothing to do with anything. Some of them are cosmetic. But the safety recalls, we try to make sure that they're taken care of as long as the parts are available. But it's interesting that that's not in the forefront anymore of the news like it used to be. So Dave talked about a couple of the other things that we do. One of the things that I'm proud to let everybody out there know is that we give diminished value reports. Now, you might say, well, what the heck is a diminished value report? Well, that's going to be really important to you if somebody rams into your car. It's their fault when they run into you, isn't that correct? Well, if it's their fault, their insurance company should pay you because now your car is diminished. Now, why is it diminished? Well, because it's been in a bad accident. I'm not talking about a minor accident. I'm talking about a moderate or major severe accident will hurt the value of your car when you come to trade it in. I don't care if it's at Frontier Motors, if it's at any dealer. Could be a used car dealer, a new car dealer. They're going to look at the history of your car and they're going to say, wait a minute, this car was in a major accident. That car is going to be harder to sell. Doesn't mean it won't sell. You could have taken it back to the new car dealer and had it fixed and put brand spanking new parts in it, which you think if you have, let's say you have a 3-year-old car that now has all brand new parts, you think it'd be worth more money instead of less money. Well, it's a psychological problem because years ago, body shops did not fix cars very well. So people were always nervous about buying a car that's been in an accident because they felt that it would never be the same, which I don't believe that anymore. But it's still out there that in the minds of most people that if a car's been in an accident, it's going to be worth less. That is called diminished value. I will give you a letter saying what our opinion of the diminished value is. Now again, it's not a formula, it's not a percentage, it's just what we would appraise that car for if you were trading today versus whatever the history report says, what reality is, and we will tell you, okay, that car is going to be worth $2,000 less, $3,000. I've had them worth as much as, I've had diminished values as much as $6,000 for a very severe accident on an expensive car because it's so much harder to sell a car that's been in a major accident. For example, if you bought a 2020 mid-engine Corvette, and the car is $90,000 for an LT3 with everything on it, and you drove it off the lot, and somebody plowed into you, and you have $30,000 worth of damage, they're not going to total that car. They're going to fix that car. Well, what would be the diminished value of that car when the Carfax says that's the type of damage that car had, even though you're going to take it back to the Chevy store and have it fixed properly? I would guess it's going to be $6,000 or $7,000, well, you should be compensated for that. Now again, folks, this is only if it's not your fault. If you run your new Corvette into a tree, they're not going to pay you diminished value because they're assuming that it wasn't the tree's fault, it was your fault. So we offer those at no charge. What if the car gets totaled? Don't settle right away. Call us up for replacement value. Forget about, we have the book values. Everybody's got the NADA. Everybody's got the black wholesale guidebooks, But what we do is we do replacement value. What's reality? Are the books high or low? If you have an older Wrangler that gets totaled, the book value is awfully low on that car. Let's say it's a 15-year-old Wrangler. The book value might be $5,000, but in reality, that Wrangler might be worth $8,000. Because the books keep dropping every year. Well, Wrangler's value doesn't keep dropping every year. Matter of fact, 2 years ago, the Wrangler had it used to be Lexus. 2 years ago, the Wrangler was the #1 model for resale value in the United States. They hold their value the best, especially the older ones. So you got to throw the book away. And there's some times where the books are really, really high. Some of the exotic cars. I'll give you an example. I sold a Mercedes the other day. The car has 6,000 miles on. The book value was $52,000. We sold the car for $46,000. So we've sold the vehicle for $6,000 less than book value. $6,000 less than book value. So what you do is you call Frontier Motors and we will give you a replacement value to make sure that you're made whole, that you can actually take the money from the insurance company and actually go out and buy another car like that if that's what you wanted to do. So that's going to be, to me, that's going to be a really a good thing that we do. The other thing we do for you also is we'll give you a free appraisal on your car. Let's say that I can't talk you out of buying a brand new car. Let's say my buddy Dave Ramsey can't talk you out of buying a brand new car. You've saved all your life. You're going to retire and you've always wanted a brand new car and that's what you're going to buy. And so why would you come to us? Well, one reason is because we have the new car cost guides, which means that we can give you the invoice cost of any new car out there at no charge. And once you know what the dealer paid for it, it makes it a little bit easier to negotiate a deal. Number two, we can tell you what your car should bring on trade-in. So if you make the transaction separate on a brand new car, let's say you're buying a $40,000 car, you've negotiated with the rebates and all the stuff they throw at you at $35,000, and based on your research, you feel that's a really good deal. Now you toss them the keys for your car. Well, if I've appraised it for $20,000 and they're offering you $17,000, you can say, no. I already have an opinion. I already know what my car is worth. So unless you give me $20,000, matter of fact, I feel if you're buying from them, they should give you more, that you're not going to do business with them. So that's going to be a really important piece of paper for you to have. It's like a second opinion so that you don't have to take their word for it. Anybody can get book values, folks, but I'm telling you that, you can go online, you get the Edmunds, the Kelly, the NEDA, the Black Book, you can get all those books, but what if the books are wrong? What if books are not reality? So you want to make sure that you're getting reality for your vehicle, and that's at Frontier Motors. And when we give you a figure, we'll tell you how we come up with the figure. A lot of people, what they do is they bring their car in, they just sell it to us. Let's say you're going to buy a brand new car, or you're going to buy a car from your neighbor, and you don't want to have two cars. So you stop in at Frontier Motors, and within 15 minutes, we will tell you what we can give you for your car. We advertise that because we always have between 3 and 4 people there that can appraise your car within 15 minutes. Some dealers only have one appraiser, and if they're busy or they're out buying cars, you're going to end up waiting for a call back or having come back to the dealership again. So at Frontier Motors, we'll let you know that any normal car, when I say normal, I'm saying the car can't have 170,000 miles on it because we're not going to buy that car unless we get inspected first. But if it's a normal car, under 100,000 miles, let's say it's 5 or 6-year-old car or newer, under 100,000 miles, we'll take the car around the block, we'll do a bit of research for you, and then we'll give you a buy bid on that car. And we'll also give you trade-in value. And another thing that we do that a lot of dealers don't do anymore, we still do free consignments. A consignment means you drop your car off, we sell it for you. And that's important in this day and age with the virus. People don't want to have people come over to their house. So how do you get rid of a car without having people come to your house? You bring it to our house. So we'll give you, and we can do most of this over the phone. We can give you the price, we can do the appraisal right over the phone. The only thing we're going to want to do is inspect the vehicle before we write you the check. Physically see it, physically smell the car. You can't smell it over the phone. If the car stinks, we're going to devalue the car because you've got to get the smell out. So, and people don't ever think the car stinks because if they thought it stinks, they wouldn't drive it. So we'll have to be the judge of that, not you. And when we give you a figure over the phone, the only thing that we do is tell you it's subject to reconditioning. So if you bring the car and it's got a big crack in the windshield, we might still buy the car, but we're going to just deduct from what it costs to put a windshield in it. Of course, in Florida, I think you got free windshield insurance once a year anyways, so that's not going to be a problem. So we talked about depreciation. We talked about used vehicle sales and why used vehicles are so good is because there's such a gap between new and used. And we also sell a lot of vehicles that are like new. We try to keep about 100 cars in stock that have under 10,000 miles. So those are what we call the alternative to new. And they have to be like new. For me to talk someone into buying a used car, it better be like brand new if they're thinking new. And then what I'll do is I'll give you an out-the-door figure in writing. It's very difficult to compare apples to apples these days, folks, because I go on the new car websites from the dealers and you get bamboozled by all these rebates. And I've seen it the other day on a pickup truck. I went to 2 different dealers on pickup truck and they had their cars discounted up to $12,000. And then they have a little asterisk, click here for details. And the only thing the details say is, might not qualify for all rebates. Well, what the heck does that mean? Which ones am I not qualifying for? If all the rebates together are $12,000, which ones do I get and which ones don't? Well, the only way you can find that out is by going to the dealer, but they kind of tie you in by showing you a $12,000 discount. So if it's a $45,000 truck, you're thinking that, hey, I can buy that truck for $33,000. Excuse me. Of course, you're not going to know that until you actually go in there to find out that all you're going to get is a $4,000 discount. So how do we overcome that? We give you at Frontier Motors a total out-the-door figure. If you have a trade-in, we'll appraise the trade. We'll circle one figure. Matter of fact, while I'm on that subject, talking about how to buy a car, Consumers Reports says on page 52 of last month's edition, it says, does car buying make your head spin? And they talk about the car buying process. Sick of the haggling and the endless paperwork at dealerships, consumer-friendly changes are coming to the car buying process. Isn't it about time? I've been talking about this at Frontier Motors since 1996 when we opened Frontier Motors, about that there's a new dealer in town that's going to do things the old-fashioned way, the easy way. Why do we call our place Frontier Motors? Because it's an old-fashioned way of doing business. You know, the old Western horse trading, where you could tell someone, hey, the car's $15,000. Will you take 13? No, I'll take 14. Okay, we got a deal. We shake on it, and there we go. That's how you do it. And that's how easy it started off being in 96, and that's still how easy it is right now. We trust people. I remember in Wisconsin that you wouldn't sell a car without taking a deposit on a car. When I sold cars in Wisconsin, that was the only way that you would even take an offer. For you to make an offer on a car in Wisconsin, you had to sign a check. You had to write a check for at least $1,000, even if you weren't putting any money down. If you made the deal, they would credit you with $1,000 back if you're financing 100%. But just to make the offer, and it was to see if you were real, if you were really going to do it. We don't do that at Frontier Motors. We trust our customers. If you say you're going to pick the car up on Friday, we expect you to be there on Friday to pick it up. Or don't say that you're going to do that. And if we tell you we're going to hold your car and we'll hold the price, we'll do that. If we tell you if we're not going to do that, we'll tell you right off the bat. I've had that happen already where a customer says, well, will you hold the car till Friday? They wanted to go shop around. I said, no, I won't do that. I'll hold the price till Friday. If the vehicle's available on Friday, you'll be able to come in and buy it for the price that I guaranteed you I'll sell it to you for. And I'll put that in writing. But as far as holding a car, when you have 13 salespeople selling cars, sometimes the only time I have a customer complaint is when a customer thought we were holding the car and we weren't. I always tell people, look them in the eye and tell them the truth. I tell them, don't get mad at us if the car is sold, because we never tell a customer we have somebody else looking at it, because that's the old bait thing. Remember that in the old days? Like, oh, you got to buy it right now because I've got 4 people looking at that car. We wouldn't tell you that even if it was true, because you wouldn't believe us. It sounds like a gimmick. So what we do when a customer wants to buy a car but wants to think about it, we say, we want you to think about it. We don't want you to feel any pressure. We want you to make the decision when you're ready to make that decision. And if the car happens to be $16,000, we'll give you an out-the-door figure in writing, everything included. When you're ready, call us up. When you're ready to buy the car, we're going to trust you. But if a customer still wants to shop around, a lot of times people change their mind. There's a statistic that I heard about a couple years ago that 78% of the people buy something different than they thought they were going to buy. 78%. Now, every once in a while, you have the customer comes in and says, I know exactly what I want. And they buy that car. Most of the time, people come in and say, I know exactly what I want. And they see something else that they like. I think the last time I counted was 260 some models of cars available in the United States. 260. How can you really know what you want? I had a customer call me this morning and says, I want a Honda CR-V all-wheel drive at $20,000 with leather. So what do I do? If I don't have the exact same car, I'll think about all the cars that are like that Honda CR-V. So I would show them a Toyota RAV4, a Santa Fe, a Hyundai Tucson. I would show them the Kia version. I would show them the Infiniti version. I would show them all the cars, not because I'm trying to confuse the issue, but because I know statistically that you might end up buying a different car. Especially if you find something you'd like even better that you didn't know was out there. The nice thing about being an independent dealer is we can sell every make and model. So we're not trying to talk you out of a Honda. If you go to a Toyota dealership and you say you're thinking about buying a Honda, they're going to be armed with all the ammunition why their Toyota is better than the Honda. And vice versa, if you go to a Honda dealership, they're going to tell you, hey, my Honda is way better than that Toyota. And then you better not go over to the Mazda dealer, because Mazda will pull out their reliability rating and say, Mazda, other than Lexus and Toyota, is the most reliable vehicle on the market right now. Which would make you maybe look at that Mazda, that CX-9, which, by the way, that person that's looking at that CR-V, that's one of the vehicles I would show them, is that CX-5 that Mazda makes, which is very similar to the Honda, and it's rated way better than the Honda. Honda right now is number 12 on the list for reliability. Does everybody know that? Honda is 12th on the list of reliability. Mazda is number 3, Lexus number 1, Toyota is number 2. So it's very interesting. Kia right there is number 4. Kia and Hyundai are right up there. Where people don't even know that, because years ago they were crappy little cars. Now there's some of the best cars on the market with some of the best warranties on the market. I'm not sure if everybody knows that Kia and Hyundai have a 5-year 60,000 mile warranty bumper to bumper, and Honda and Toyota have a 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper. Now why is that? If Honda and Toyota built such a good car, why don't they jack up the warranty and match Hyundais and Kias? Wouldn't that be a great advertising ploy? We've got a 5-year warranty now. So I don't know why they won't do that. It can't cost them anything if their cars don't break down. But it gives you a peace of mind that they're going to cover that car. Now, they have the engine and transmission warranty up there, but they don't have the bumper to bumper. Kia and Hyundai have a 10-year, 100,000 mile engine warranty if you buy the car brand new. Now, you heard I said, if you buy the car brand new. Well, we only sell used cars. So how do I overcome that? When you can get a 10-year warranty on the engine transmission if you buy from Alan Turner, for example, or Kia here of Pensacola. Well, so we've put a 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty on all of our cars, other than high performance. All the cars, so if you buy any Honda or Kia from us, or Honda or Toyota, for example, if the car is 1 year old, you will get 9 more years of warranty, up to 100,000 miles on the odometer if the engine, the transmission, or the transaxle blows up within that time frame. You pay $100 deductible, we pay the rest. The insurance company pays the rest. So I've negotiated with the insurance company to get a one price fee where I can cover all our cars. So you can rest assured that if you're buying a car that's got 80,000 miles on it, you're still going to have 20,000 miles of engine and transmission warranty. Kind of a good selling point. No strings attached. And we've been doing this for about 4 years now. It's worked great. Every once in a while, there's going to be a claim, and I am so happy that I can tell the customer, don't worry about it, you're taken care of. So it's a $6,000 motor. Matter of fact, we had one go on a Ford the other day, a Ford F-150. Freak thing, they hardly ever break. Ford F-150 is the #1 selling vehicle in the United States. But if you have a 0.5% go bad, that's 1 out of 200. And now you're covered. You don't have to pay. What a great line that is. Feather and cap. And you don't get that even from the Ford store. They come with a 5-year 60 if you buy from Ford. They come with a 10, 100,000 mile warranty if you buy from Frontier Motors. We've been bringing the show for a long time and letting people know that we're not here just to sell you a car. We're here to show you cars. A lot of times I do a really good job, and our salespeople do a really good job showing you cars, and you end up buying somewhere else. Now, why would you buy somewhere else? Well, one reason is maybe we don't have the right color. Maybe one reason is we don't have a stick shift. I had a customer the other day came in, I want a stick shift Tacoma. We didn't have one. But what we're going to do is we're going to help you buy that vehicle somewhere else. We're going to give you all the information of what you should pay. We're going to give you the information if it's a good vehicle or a bad vehicle. We're going to give you the information on what your vehicle is worth. We're going to tell you what you should pay for that particular car out the door. Don't get bamboozled by high fees after the fact. What's reasonable and what's not reasonable. And the reason we do this is that we know that that car you're buying isn't going to be the last car you're ever going to buy. And when somebody says, where should I go to buy a car? You'll recommend Frontier Motors. You'll recommend the dealer that helped you buy the car, not so much the dealer that you bought it from. And we've been doing this, and that's why we started out with 25 to 30 cars on our lot 24 years ago. We're up to almost 400 cars on the lot. We started selling 30 cars a month. Now we're selling approximately 200 cars a month. And most of that is not because of this Blab TV show that we do. Most of that is because of the repeat and referral business that also this TV show affords us. By getting the word out that there's a dealer there that's going to help you. If you're selling a car by yourself, you don't want to sell to us, you want to do it yourself, we'll help you we'll show you how to do the paperwork. We'll give you a bill of sale. We'll do the history report. If you're selling your own car and somebody has a car that they have to sell first, we'll buy their car from them. Now, obviously, one of the things that we do right now is we're very aggressive on buying cars from private individuals. And you'll be surprised on how much over this black wholesale book will pay. This is wholesale. We pay a lot more than wholesale because we realize if you bring us the car, we don't have to pay for shipping. We don't have to pay the auction. We don't have to pay the buyer. You're bringing it to us. We'll give you more money because of that. And if that's not enough, we'll do a consignment. We will sell the car for you. We'll give you more money on consignment because we don't have to tie up our cash. So it's really a win-win situation for everybody. And that's what a new car / used car dealer should do. It should be a win for everybody where we can sell a car and still make money, but you're not getting ripped off and you feel good about the transaction. And again, going on 24 years, we've got a lot of experience doing that. And we want to make sure that no matter where you buy a car, that you're not going to get taken advantage of. That you're not going to say, God, I wish I would have called you guys first. And I've had that happen before where people come in and say, did I get a good deal? Don't come in after the fact. I don't want to make you feel bad. I would rather have you come in first and I'll tell you what to pay so you didn't pay too much. By the way, this show right here will also be on YouTube, and it's also on Facebook, and it's also on our website at Frontier Motors. So Google Frontier Motors, you're going to see about 400 cars in inventory, anywhere between 300 and 400 cars, 31 detailed photographs. If you have any questions, please give us a call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Auf Wiedersehen.
SUV or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Hello, this is Iven Streckel, owner of Frontier Motors. If you'd like to sell your car, we're buying cars. The auctions are closed. We sold 200 cars last month. We desperately need to replace cars. So if you're in the market to sell, we are in the market to buy.